You must know that all the peoples of the earth, all cultures, even those that no longer exist, have a way of telling how the world was made. Yes. I know that they teach us that the earth has been in existence for millions and millions of years and that life, animals and plants and clouds and water, everything appeared little by little and evolved until it was as we see them today in day. But, many, many years ago, people did not know how to explain how there were animals, or how human beings appeared on earth, nor could they understand things as we understand them today because they simply did not know. They explained in their own way how always a higher being had decided to create the world. There are many stories because, as I say, all the peoples of the earth tell in one way or another how the planet where we live was created, how animals, plants were made, everything, a god or several gods, depending the culture. They were the creators of the appearance of life and especially of man on earth. Today I am going to tell the way the Bible tells it to us. Another day I will tell you another story about another people, but today I am going to tell you how God created the world according to Christianity. At first there was nothing, but when I say nothing it is nothing, nothing, not light, not birds, not plants, not water, not even a speck of dust, nothing, nothing, but nothing. God is a creator. A creator is one who makes something out of nothing. For example, a painter is a creator because he creates a painting on a blank canvas. A potter is a creator because he creates a vase from a ball of clay. Because God is even more creative because he creates things without the need for raw materials. The raw material is what it is created with. For God creates out of nothing. As we said at the beginning, there was nothing and God said, "Let there be light," and although you may not believe it, suddenly there was light in the world. There was nothing more than that. Light and darkness, and the light already called day the dark night. When he saw the light he thought and saw that it was good. He liked it, and that is how the days and nights that we see today were created. Then God separated the sky from the earth, because although there was light and darkness, everything else was together. And he thought it was good that the sky and the clouds and the air were above and the earth, the mountains, the valleys were below that heaven, then parted the waters. And made some to be here on earth and to be seas, and lakes, and rivers, and waterfalls. He looked at what he had just done and thought that was good too. He liked what he had just created and thus separated what is above from what is below. He observed what he had done and thought that it would be good to separate the lands, and thus the continents arose, and the islands and the straits and the coves and the bays. And then he considered that it would be beautiful to populate the earth with plants and began to sow He created all the plants, the tall ones, the short ones, the trees and the flowers. And he made them grow by themselves, and he planted them everywhere, making them sprout with many different colors and shapes and bear fruit. When he had finished, he looked and liked what he had done. He saw different colors and shades of green throughout the land, and since he was happy with what he had created, so left it. After this he looked at the sky and thought that it was incomplete, and so he created the sun and the stars and the moon and made them rotate with each other, and this is how the seasons, the snow, the ice, the seasons arose, the rains, monsoons and all the atmospheric elements that we see, and the sun lit the day and the moon the night. When artists create a work, they look at it, and if they like what they have done, they leave it as is, but if they see that their creation does not convince, they retouch it and continue retouching it until they leave it as they think is fine, for that is. Every time God created something, he looked at it, and if he liked how it had been once satisfied with his creation, he would leave it. After seeing how the sun and the moon and the stars rotated and seeing the earth populated with plants and flowers, God thought that something was missing. We already said that artists look and observe their work over and over again, and despite the fact that God he liked what he had created up to now, he felt that something was missing. Come on. His creation was not completely finished. He thought and realized that there was a lot of silence in the world, and then he filled the seas with fish and all the animals that live in the waters. And looking at the sky, he filled it with different birds that crossed it and filled it with hubbub, and looking at the lands, he populated them with different animals, making them multiply by themselves. This means that from now on it would no longer be he who was creating them, but they themselves would mate and have young. With this, God created life and continuity on earth. Since then animals reproduce, and that is why we see them in the forests, and in the skies, and in the seas and rivers and lakes, all full of life. Now he was satisfied. He looked at everything he had created and he liked it. He thought he was very good and he left it. But, seeing everything created, he was still not satisfied at all, because of course, there was light and darkness, the days and nights, the sun and the stars, the plants that sprung up and filled the earth with greenery and colors with their flowers and its fruits. The sky full of birds that crossed it, and the seas with fish of all sizes, and now the earth was populated by different animals, and yet I felt that something was missing. What would it be? Of course, there was a lack of someone who enjoyed all of God's creation, someone who could see and use and enjoy all that he had created. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image and likeness." Notice that God is going to create something so important that he even thinks he needs help, and then taking dust from the ground he created man just as we are. With our senses, our hopes, joys and good intentions. God saw him and thought that this was his greatest creation, the most beautiful, the most complete. The man walked through that beautiful place full of life that God had created for him to enjoy, and when he saw that the man was alone, God thought that this was not good. And then he created the woman, he made her different from the man, so that both they will complement each other. Now the creation of the world was complete. Then God, when verifying that everything he had created was good and liked, put man and woman in a garden and thought as an artist that creation was over. And in this way the Bible tells that God as creator was who made life appear on earth and everything that is found in it. The Bible says that God created the earth in 7 days. He used the first 3 days to separate, another 3 to decorate and the 7th day to rest.